Yeah, I didn't realize
There goes
episode
my
8
power.
was the last one. This morning I thought I
Yep.
was going to watch another episode, and I
Yep.
was like, oh,
There it
shit.
went. Yep.
We lose AJ.
That's a bummer. I hate when that happens.
We do still have the boys, though, so...
Welcome, everybody, to Connosaur Pod, your home for celebrating all things comic conventions and nerd culture. My name is AJ Hester. I'm joined by my co-host, Cody Howell, Kent Lawley, and the Connosaur himself, Matt Hodges. The Connosaur just returned from Nashville, Tennessee, the Las Vegas of the East, the New York of the South, and the United States home for all D&D. You can fact check me on all of those things. Matt's going to tell us about KeepaCon, the con he was at in Nashville. But before we get into that, somebody talk nerdy to me. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, something nerdy. I watched the first couple of episodes of Invincible and the first episode of The Boys of their new seasons. I know that we discussed that they're kind of both of them, or at least The Boys and somewhat Invincible, a little bit mainstream, but I think some people might still consider them somewhat nerdy. Turns out, still both fantastic. I finished Loner Life in Another World. It was kind of a big fat disappointment. It just didn't go anywhere. It was
We
a
value
fun-
honesty here, so...
Yeah. Honesty.
I mean, I knew going into it that it was probably a 12-episode piece, and then the animation and the storyline initially, I was like, this probably isn't going to have like a great payoff, but it had like no payoff, like none at all. But I did get to the Darth Maul parts in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and
Yeah.
even though it's not the Maul that I wanted, and the part of me will never ever let that go. It is still pretty cool. Sam Witwer is amazing, and the direction that they're taking him is pretty neat. So I'm not displeased. But once again, there will always be a part of me that just wants the silent, just cold killer that he was presented as initially. But I guess
How far have you gotten into the Clone Wars Maul?
I can't remember. If you'd asked me a couple of days ago, I would tell you exactly the season episode. Season 4, and it's where him and his brother Savage Opress.
Great name. Perfect name. Yeah. Named by George Lucas. George Lucas named that character.
Where they were recruiting the pirates. And man, I'll tell you what, Darth Maul, that is pretty bad at this so far. Not a lot goes right for old Darth Maul.
Well, that's because he was a silent assassin for so long. He has to learn how to speak.
Yeah, he's got to figure it out. He's figuring his shit out right now.
Yeah.
He got cut in half.
I can't remember I had a count on his plans and how they were going, and it was like every episode, I think I've only seen 3 or 4 of them with him in them, and he has a plan in each and every one of those episodes initially, and each and every one of those plans goes tits up on him every time. Like by the end of the episode, it's like, well, that went poorly for you, didn't it? And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. This will work out. I've got another plan. It's like, maybe let Savage and his cool last name start coming up with the plans, because yours are going terrible.
Why do you think he's so angry all the time? Like, fuck, my plan didn't work.
They always seem like they're heading in the right direction, but they end up failing fantastically.
Has he run into Obi-Wan yet?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Okay, I think it's that first one when Obi-Wan's like, "Who are you? Like, what's happening here?" And Maul's like, "You motherfucker! I have done nothing but think of you this whole time." That's the shit. Like, that's what really gets me going when it comes to. And then I think Savage and because Ventress has you gotten to the fight with Obi-Wan and Ventress versus Savage and
Yeah, that's like the very first episode back.
right.
Yeah, and talk about plans. Him and Savage have Obi-Wan dead to rights. It's game over. They win so quickly. It's like, just don't do the villain trope, and Obi-Wan saga's over. You get your revenge. Like, this whole universe is
Ball game.
completely different. But then not only do they do the whole villain trope, when Ventress comes in and interrupts them, they're like, they kind of disappear for a second. And like, let's leave this room. And they leave the room, and I'm talking not 10 seconds later, Ventress and Obi-Wan are in the room that they just left, and then they walk back out on the ledges and like, oh shit, they're here. It's like, yeah, they never left the rooms, you fucking idiots. All you did was give them time to game plan and arm themselves.
Again, he's new to this. He's just like figuring out robot legs. Spoilers if you hadn't watched Clone Wars.
Why would they both leave? Anywho.
They're bros, man.
Savage is not the brightest crayon in the box.
No.
And Cody, what you got going on?
Yeah, I'll just do my usual update on the game because that's the only nerdy thing I have extra. I wouldn't say extra time. The only thing I make time for creatively right now. And I've mentioned to all of you the Panda, and I'll share that in a second. The image, the sprite I've made. So the game, for a short description, again, for anybody listening for the first time, a fantasy role-playing game. The levels are football games. But what I'm working on this week is specifically interceptions. So up until this point, turnovers existed, but only turnovers on downs. So if an interception was triggered, it would just end the play and you start the next play. So one thing I had worked on for the over level was this cute panda just sits there. He's going to be there next to the level.
Him? He's a panda.
Asked Scarlett my daughter, what animal she would like, and she said panda bear. So that was an easy choice.
You're a panda. What are you going to do, big guy? Sit on me?
Pick that, but I made the sprite, and it's a pretty big sprite compared to the other characters, so you can see it really well on screen. And so what I did when I first started working on the interception, when it didn't really have any function that it did, is just if interception then, and then it blank. I needed to make sure it was being triggered in the right places, and so at the right spot on the field at the right moment. So what I did was, because I thought it would entertain me a little bit while I'm making it, I just made it spawn a panda every time there was an interception, and I set the interception, the catch range of the defenders really big. So interceptions constantly and just pandas popping up all over the field. So that was fun, awesome. But that's what I've been using for the panda for. And I'll share my little sprite. It should let me do this.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could. Can I point out that when we went to this screen, Kent, our resident little panda, was the brick that popped up.
I'm the big fat panda.
Perfect.
Here's a little animation. Wiggles his toes a little.
Yeah, cute little toe wiggle.
Yeah, but I tend to break up the game
Nice.
by a bunch of coding with something like the interception. I think one thing that might make that a little more interesting than some other football games is that, at least for now, when an interception happens, it completely reverses the field. So if you're on offense and the defense intercepts it, you're in reverse. So it switches around to be behind the other team, like they're on offense and they're the main character now. So if you're on defense, you're facing the camera, and if you intercept it, it spins around to be behind you. So when you return it, it would be like an offensive view. And if I need to try and explain that again, and that's just the way I've built the game so far. That made way more sense from a programming perspective because there are a lot of rules you're going by. So yeah, I like it. It's a little jarring right now when you intercept it and it just reverses really quick. So I'll make that a smoother transition, but I got the basic functionality working this week. So that's really the last major thing with the gameplay that I needed to get figured out. So that's good.
Did you see that Ray YouTube commented and said that they were excited for the future of that particular game?
I did not see that, but that's cool.
Yeah.
That's my friend Andy, who I went to Rhode Island Comic Con with. So
In Indiana.
yeah, Indiana. Yep.
Started. I should be. I'll cut all of this, but I should be better at responding to people on YouTube. But I will reach out to Indiana Ray and maybe he can be an early beta tester.
Yeah, I'm gonna share one more thing, just for anybody who is curious about what the sprites look like and what the style of the art is. Yep, this is the main character who I'm calling Digit right now.
Nice.
Look at his little legs.
Yeah, I don't know how smoothly it's playing. My computer's not displaying things great right now, but
looks good on my end.
He's there, good form, stomping the ground like he's pissed off at it.
Yeah, I'm pretty into biomechanics and that stuff. So
gripping the Pringles, Coach Wiley style.
He was running like the cop from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, if you've ever seen. But
yeah,
looks good.
Oh yeah, it looks great, man. Very excited about it.
Yeah.
So that's most of my creative energy going into that.
Nice stuff. AJ, do you want to go, or do you want me to go into KeepACon now?
My nerdy thing is I have finished this season of Invincible. I don't know where all you guys are at, but good Lord, does it get kind of brutal? Cody, are you done?
Yeah, I didn't realize episode 8 was the last one. This morning I thought I was going to watch another episode, and I was like, oh, shit.
There it went. Yeah.
We lose AJ.
That's a bummer. I hate when that happens.
We do still have The Boys, though, so I started that. I started the latest episode, so I'm caught up except for like the last 30 minutes of The Boys. Kind of ran out of time today.
I hadn't been able to watch The Boys yet, but did end up watching the new Born Again episode and Maul Shadow Lord this week. So also good choices.
I'm definitely excited to get on that show now. Now, first off, I think we've lost AJ.
Yeah, we did.
Any listener or viewer, where we're recording our area, we are all getting storm weather right now. So we've had some technical difficulties between tonight and last night. We're gonna try and battle through them. But anyways, so I'm watching Clone Wars. Do I have to watch Bad Batch or Rebels or anything like that?
I don't think you'll need to watch Bad Batch or Rebels. Rebels is going to take place a little bit after everything. So this is kind of bridging the gap between episode 3, where Shadow Lord does, and Solo, because that's your last time you see Maul before Rebels. And then Rebels is that to New Hope. So,
okay. Yeah. Cool. Thank you for that info. Speaking of one of those gap bridgers, while we're waiting on AJ for him and something nerdy, first off, probably my personal favorite work in all of the Star Wars universe, at least film or television, is Rogue One. which is
Oh, yeah.
only rivaled by Andor. And those are just fantastic for anybody watching or listening. Our listener, maybe listener and a half this week.
I really liked
those-
season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked all of it, but especially season 1.
Yeah. I was a big fan of season 1, and I really liked season 2 because I am a big Bo-Katan fan, and then the stuff with Luke at the end is just top tier, even if it's the weird CGI
Yeah.
face deep fake stuff. It was still awesome, but yeah, I just like that whole thing with. I like Mandalore. Just like all the stuff that they've done with Mandalore has been awesome. The Darksaber, Tars Vizsla, all that top tier stuff.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cool lore and just cool people. And obviously the armor is just so neat.
Yeah, but no, the whole story and Clone Wars with Satine and Obi-Wan, and then the Bo-Katan stuff. Yeah,
It's
The
a lot of layers to it.
yeah. The Battle of Mandalore in the last season, the Siege of Mandalore in the last season, is really good too.
Okay, all right. I'll note that to be on the lookout for it. The panel that we attended in Huntsville with the Star Wars Clone Wars people, the voice actors, kind of spoiled some of what might be happening. I'm at the top of the mountain where the snowball is starting, I suppose, but not full on avalanche to it yet.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I
But-
guess if you're gonna get a spoiler, that's a cool, fun way to get a spoiler.
Yeah,
From the cast themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that I think I've heard most of what all goes on, like in very broad strokes beforehand, so it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I definitely didn't recall it specifically. And I like how they asked if everybody had watched it, or anybody who hadn't watched it. AJ raised my hand for me, and then I looked over, and in this crowd of, I don't know, a couple hundred people at the least, maybe closer to 500, there's like 4 other hands in the air, and they trucked right on through, which they should have.
So they're like, hey, if it's not like 80% of the people who,
Yeah.
it's just, who cares about the 4 in this room of 400?
Exactly.
It's their fault.
Yeah, when was the last season of that? I mean, how long?
It was recent. When did that last season come out? It was post-COVID because they brought it back.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure I was already out of pharmacy school when they brought it back. So.
Okay.
But I can't really use the time as being recent because that was 5 years ago now. But when I first graduated pharmacy school, but let's see, I think it was. Let's see when I came back in. Season 7 was. No, I was in pharmacy school still. 2020. That was 6 years ago. That's crazy.
So yeah, so they no one should dance around spoiler alerting people.
Yeah.
They've had 7 years to watch the series.
Watched it. Yeah. That's wild. But
It is. It's time.
I guess I'll just go ahead and talk to you two about KeepACon.
Yeah.
So who knows when AJ's going to get his power back, and we can go ahead and knock that out and use that for this episode. But yeah, so this past weekend I went to KeepACon. It is a charity convention that is in Nashville, Tennessee, at the GameKeep in the Hermitage area of Tennessee. The GameKeep's a game store that's a Nashville figure. It's been there for over 30 years. The convention has been going on for about 5 years now. And it is just you go up, pay money to play games all weekend, and all the money goes to St. Jude. That's raised from like sales tickets, raffles. We raised more money this year than we did last year. This year we raised over $6,700. So that was the estimate at the end on Sunday night. And it's a 3-day con, Friday through Sunday. I got to play a little bit. I ran my marble game. It was a lot of fun. Everyone had a good time. Trying to keep an Infinity Stone away from Thanos, and they were getting chased across the multiverse. It was a good time. Everyone had a blast playing all these different Marvel heroes, which is a fun part of the Marvel system. Is you pretty much was just like, here's a book, pick a Marvel superhero out of it, and you go play. Also played a couple of games, D&D, and then one called Mothership, which was a lot of fun. And it was a kind of alien horror survival game. And I played a Russian surgeon named Helena Markov, and I survived, and other people lost like 5 characters, and one guy's character at the end had like lost his legs, and my character carried him all the way to the ship and saved his life doing the surgery stuff. So he's sitting there with no legs now, and we were calling him Lieutenant Dan the entire time.
Of course.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, and it was all for the children over at St. Jude. We raffled off a couple items, including the Baldur's Gate 3 poster that I've spent the last year getting autographs on, going to all sorts of conventions. Kind of what pushed a lot of the Connosaur going to conventions, that thing. A lot of that experience came from this poster. And yeah, so that was raffled off. And I won it.
I was going to say, tell us who won.
Yeah, I won it. They got to stay home. A lot of this, when you put a lot of love and care into a project like that, I guess the universe was just like, here you go, here's a back. But yeah, so that was the extent of that. But yeah, KeepCon was fun. We had a good time. But yeah,
that's very cool. About how big was it?
There was, let's see, there's about 10 tables. And each table had about 5 or 6 people at it.
Okay.
And some people played all weekend. Others came like for a game or two. So probably about 100, 200, 300 people coming through.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I definitely want to check that out next year.
Yeah. It showed it's a good time, and it's just for like D&D type games, other games. So it's a good time. It's in Nashville.
Yeah, just a short drive for you in Bowling Green and for me in Birmingham. So definitely try and check that out next year. And I want to get into more of those games anyways. I've played D&D a handful of times, but I never really gotten into the meat of a quest or anything like that. But speaking of something nerdy, Devora Wild and Neil Newbon are on Dungeon Masters.
Yeah.
I did start an episode of that. I only got about 20 minutes in because I was sitting with our friend Will, and he said that he was fine with it being on, but there's also hockey on, so I went ahead and put hockey on. But I'm definitely gonna watch that. It seems.
Yeah, the other two aren't in here because they've lost power. But we could do a Connosaur game that we record and put out.
Yes.
Just over through Discord and the virtual tabletop.
Yes,
so I'll run it.
100%.
Finally, because AJ needs to play. He hasn't played. So.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to get a taste of it. And I was very intrigued when you were talking about the Marvel game that you were going to run at Keep a Con on our, I guess, were we doing that on the review from Huntsville?
Yep, on the Huntsville review, yeah. So, yeah.
And you did end up using the Tesseract as your MacGuffin?
I did. And I just handed it to them, and they were all just like, I don't want to touch that. So it's really funny that they were just like passing it around, like no one wanting to like use it or hold it or anything.
Yeah.
They're all just like, no, let's not use that. Keep that away. But it was a lot of fun, and they all played like super high like level heroes. So I get to mess around with things, make Thanos even more powerful because they were all playing like Blue Marvel, Jean Grey, those types. So, but
yeah,
that
exactly. I was gonna ask because you said that there's an option to create a character, but you think that it's generally more fun to use a pre-made existing hero.
I think so, because that's a lot of Marvel is like, and when you're like a kid or whatever, you're playing Marvel and you're like, I'm playing as this character. So it kind of harkens back to that where you're like going through and like playing as those. And that's why like just when I play Gambit a lot because I like Gambit's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun to just have that go on and the characters get into like the people get into it and start playing the characters. Like we had a guy playing Nightcrawler and he was doing a German accent.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, so it's just a lot of fun. So, but yeah, well, I guess we're gonna wrap this here because it's just me and you. I have no idea what AJ wanted to talk about even further.
Just looking at the text message from an update from him and Cody. It looks like they are not going to get back in on this episode. We've hit about 30 minutes. We're going to try and keep these a little bit shorter. Other than I think our reviews, there's just a lot to pack into a con review. They're just so. I mean, even when we do an hour, we really could do like 2 hours. You know, and there's just a lot. But just for anybody, to our listener, keep things a little bit more palatable, a little bit more consumable. Try and keep these things a little bit shorter. So we will go ahead and cut it here. Things that we're talking about doing in the future, in the very near future. Luckily, this episode was very Star Wars heavy. Upcoming, we're going to try and have a special something for all of us. And then for all of, one of you is on May 4th. May the 4th be with you type episode and some content related to that. So you guys be on the lookout for that. And I guess otherwise, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. See ya.
They over roast the beans.